Yeah, dear students, NTA announced the dates of February session and also to apply. They released the notification. From today onwards, you can apply. So the last day to submit application the January 15th, 15/1/2021. The exams will be February 22, 25. They are given two sessions. They announced the first session will be morning 9 to 12, and the second session they announced 3 to 6. Now, now what you should preparation should be serious. You should start seriously. So you should start seriously. The preparation should be you take it seriously. Daily basis you should preparation you should start. First one round you should complete all the topics to revise. After that, along with you should solve your previous year questions also. So now today onwards I am going to start the first topic, the first is syllabus sets. Simultaneously I will do second is syllabus also. So topic wise I am going to do that. In between required subtopic wise I will split and I will do that. So today I am planning to start the topic sets. In the topic sets, just I will give the brief about the sets, the important concepts I will discuss. After that, I will discuss, like after completing, I will discuss the previous year questions what they asked. From last 5 years, if you observe, they are asking definitely one question they are asking in sets. Even 2019, they asked two questions. In 2020, the recent one, even in September session also, every session they asked one question. Almost we have four sessions, means four questions are there. Every session, generally they are asking one question. Almost like in 2020, almost I have seen around four questions they are given from sets topic. So we can expect one question from the topic sets. This is a basic thing. You should be thorough with that. They are asking questions not that much tough. It's easy only. If you know the basic, you are strong. Definitely you can do that. So when you're talking about the sets, the set concept, just a collection of well-defined objects is known as a set. A collection of well-defined objects is known as a set. So that's the basic thing. You know that. Generally, we will represent the set with the capital letters. We write. Use capital letters. Used to represent the set. The elements of the set we may represent with the small letters. Sometimes we may represent capital letters also. The elements of the set. Now, suppose here, when the talking about the set, a collection of well-defined objects is known as a set. I can write the set form like A is equal to set of 2, 4, 6. So this is the notation we are using flower bracket just 2, 4, 6. So I can say set, this is called set of even numbers. I can write this is one set. I can write. Suppose when I have taken B is equal to, I can write the element this one B is equal to, I can express something. I can write the given data, anything I can write 1, 3, 5, set of odd numbers. In a flower bracket I can represent. So I can write like this. This is a set notation I can write. Suppose the element belongs to A, I can write 2 belongs to A, like 1 belongs to B, like this I can write this belongs. This is a notation for representing just the notation. So now like this we can represent set of even numbers, set of odd numbers. Now here, just you can think about general set we can represent in two ways. One is roster form, another set builder form. So this is the roster form, when I written roster form. How to express in set builder form? So you can see set builder form is A is equal to, I get the common property of this. X is such that, I get X is such that, X is an even number, right? Or multiple of 2 also you can write. X is equal to 2n, n belongs to n. I can express like this, multiples of 2, or I can x is an even number, x is a positive even number, these are all numbers, positive even number I can write, or I can express x is equal to 2n, n belongs to n. What is n? Set of natural numbers. I can express like this. Suppose if I take B, this is set builder form, this is roster form. Suppose if I take B is equal to x such that x is equal to, I can write odd number, right? The general form I can write 2n minus 1, n belongs to n. I can express like this. So 2n minus n belongs to n, give set of odd numbers. So this is set builder form, this is roster form. we can express set builder form and roster form, we can express always. So we can define the set, we can define. Generally, here this is a simple thing what you are learning, right? The roster form, set builder form, we can express like this. Suppose they are asking, write the solution set of the equation. Write the solution set of the equation in roster form. Write the solution set of the equation in roster form. Write the solution set of the equation in roster form. They are given x square minus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. Write the solution set of this equation roster form. You can find the factors of this. X square minus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. X minus 2 into x minus 3. You get the factors. X is equal to 2 comma 3. So they are asking roster form. The solution set I can write. The solution set equal to set of 2 comma 3. I can express like this. This is solution set of this. This is roster form. I can express. But even if we know roster form to set builder form to roster form, we can do that. The previous example what I explained, that way also we can do that. Now I will explain the concept of like empty set. What is the meaning of empty set? When they are talking about empty set, suppose they are talking about empty set, a set which doesn't contain any element. A set which doesn't contain any element is called an empty set, or you can also say void set or null set. A set which doesn't contain any element is known as an empty set or void set or null set. So I can represent like this. This is the notation, right? Like this. This is the notation, or I can write like this. Both are same. Is empty set representation. So for example, I can write a natural number lies between 2 and 3. They are asking a natural number lies between 2 and 3. A natural number lies between 2 and 3. When they are talking natural number lies between 2 and 3, what do you write? They are asking a natural number lies between 2 and 3. X belongs to n. They are saying here. They are given like this. Set of x is such that 2 less than x less than 3. X belongs to n. Then what do you get this? X is a number here. Between 2 and 3, x belongs to n. There is no natural between 2 and 3, right? So it gives empty set. I can write this is empty set notation. Correct, empty set. Suppose if there is the solution set of x square plus 1 equal to 0, x belongs to R. Write the solution set of x square plus 1 equal to x belongs to R. You can consider x plus 1 equal to 0. But there is no real number to satisfy this equation x square plus 1 equal to 0, right? So there is no real number to satisfy this equation. So in this case, what should I consider here? So here when x is equal to 0, if we solve that, there is no real roots. So what is the solution set I can write? Solution set equal to, I can write empty set, right? I can express empty set. So it is empty because there is no real roots. If they ask complex roots, suppose x belongs to c. If they give complex roots, then I can express. Suppose if they give x square plus 1 equal to 0, x belongs to c, where c is a set of complex numbers, then I can write x square equal to minus 1, which is equal to I square. I can write x equal to plus or minus I. The solution set is minus I comma I can express. So you can see here they define domain. They define domain here. When it is R, x is the R, x belongs to R, set of real numbers, solution set is empty set. If it is complex number, the solution is not empty set, single set of minus I comma I. Like this we can define about the empty set. Or we can say void set, or we can say null set. Suppose if you are having one element that is called singleton set. Suppose it is having one element that is called singleton set. Singleton set. Here I can discuss about finite set, infinite set also. Simply I can discuss finite set, infinite set also I can discuss. Now I will discuss about the like singleton set. Here what is a singleton set? If a set is having only one element, that is called singleton set. For example, I can write singleton set means A is equal to singleton 1. It is a singleton set. It is having only one element. This is called singleton set. Suppose here when I have taken now finite set. What is the meaning of finite set? Finite set. When they're talking finite set, for example, A is equal to 1, 2, 3. I can write here a number of cardinality of A, number of elements in A is equal to 3. We are able to find it. Number we can able to find it. This is finite number. This is called finite set. Even empty set comes under finite set. Suppose you have written empty set. There is no element. Right? Number of elements in empty set equal to 0. So this also comes under finite set. If the set is having if a set is having if a set is having finite number of elements or no element, that is called finite set. So this is also finite set. This is also finite set because number of elements is 0. In finite set, I can write here 0, right? Suppose when they talk about infinite set. So infinite means you can see the number is not possible to count. For example, infinite set, you take natural numbers. So this is infinite set. So if it is set of integers, correct, I can consider 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. I can write and so on, minus 2, minus 1. So these are the set of integers, infinite set. Cardinality will be infinite, right? 1, 2, 3, these are not infinite sets. This set of real numbers, infinite set. We can discuss finite set, infinite set, singleton set and empty set. We have discussed. Now, after knowing the cardinality, we can also discuss equal sets and equivalent sets. What is the meaning of equal sets and equivalent sets? First, you should know what about equal sets. So, if you know equal sets and after equal sets, equivalent sets, then also I can discuss about difference between equal sets and equivalent sets. Okay. Now, equal sets means you can see, suppose A is equal to 1, 2, 3. B is equal to the given 2, 3, 1. A and B having the same elements. B is having all the elements of B and say each and every element is same. Then I can say A is equal to B. Otherwise, A is not equal to B. So each and every element of A should be the each and every element of B. Then again it can be written as A is equal to B. Suppose you can see here, for example, they are given C is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. D is equal to, they are given 2, 3, 4. So can I say equal? No. C is not equal to D. C and D should have the same elements. So C is not equal to D. Here A equal to B. So these are the two sets are equal. So what are equivalent sets? Equivalent sets means you can observe here. Equivalent means the cardinality should be same. If n of A equal to n of B, then I can say A comma B are called equivalent sets. I can say equivalent sets. I can say equivalent sets. When these two are called A comma B are called equivalent sets. In that case, I can say equivalent sets. N of B, A, B are called equivalent sets. Cardinality should be same. Then I have doubt. Sir, what about equal sets? Yes, equal sets always equivalent sets. Equal sets always equivalent. But equivalent sets never be equal sets. For example, you can see here n of C is equal to n of D. N of C equal to n of D. 4 elements, 4. Sorry, we written. I written here now. Suppose we add 1 more element. So you can write. So this is C is not equal to D. We know that C is not equal to D. But number of elements are same. N of C equal to n of D. 2, 3, 4, 5 I have taken. So I can say these two are equivalent. Equivalent means cardinality should be same. Number of elements in both the sets should be same. This is called, they are not equal but equivalent. Here you can see equal and also equivalent. All equal sets are equivalent. But all equivalent sets need not be equal sets, right? That will be careful here. Like that, we know about the equal sets and equivalent sets. Now, I will discuss about the subsets. Now, I will discuss about the, when they are talking about the subset, what is the meaning of subsets? Suppose we take two elements, you can, two sets you can consider. I have taken 1, 2, 3. I have taken B is equal to, I have taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see here, B is having all the elements of A. If B is having all the elements of A, then I can say A is a subset of B. When B is having all the elements of A, then I can say A is a subset of B. It can be written as like this. This is a notation. If B is having all the elements of A, it can be written as A is subset of B. A is subset of B. A is subset of B. Suppose if B is a subset of A also, then you can say A is equal to B. For example, if I written A is equal to 1, 2, 3, C is equal to 1, 2, 3. So what can I mean here? C is having all the elements of A is subset of C. I can also write, and C is subset of A, that implies A is equal to C. If you want to say two sets are equal, one is subset of the other. If A is subset of C and C is subset of A, it can be written as A is equal to C. We can express like that. This is an example like when A is subset of B. That means you can also think when A is equal to C means, sir, can you accept a set is a subset of itself? Yes, always. I can also write A is a subset of itself. And also if we consider empty set, there is no element. Empty set is subset of every set. You take empty set is subset of every set. Empty set is subset of every set. I can consider. If we compare like this, we can also think natural number set is a subset of whole numbers, right? Is subset of, I can say integers, is a subset of rational numbers, right? And it is a subset of rational numbers. Is rational numbers is subset of real numbers, right? Is a subset of real numbers. I can express, right? Just I given this is a subset of real numbers, right? I can consider subset of real numbers. When you talk about they represent T, they are representing the X is such that the saying here they are talking about. They are talking about set of irrational number they are defining here. X is such that X belongs to R and X does not belongs to Q. This is set of irrational numbers. They represent with the letter T, capital T. Some people they will write Q dash, R minus Q also they will write. It's a real number which is not rational, is not irrational number. The set of irrational is denoted by T here. X belongs to R, but it doesn't belong to Q. It doesn't belong to Q. Not X doesn't belong to Q. This is set of irrational numbers. It can be expressed R minus Q also. Set of irrational numbers. But I can write here. So T is a subset of R. Correct? T is a subset of R I can write. But M is not a subset of T, right? T is a irrational number like root 2, root 3, root 5. Natural number is not a subset of set of irrational numbers, right? T is irrational numbers. T is a subset of R. But N is not a subset of irrational numbers. But I can say N is a subset of whole numbers, integers, rational numbers. So we can write here. Correct? We can express like this. Now here, in all the sets we can say N is the smallest indective set. In all the sets, N is the smallest indective set. What is the meaning of indective set? One should be there in the given set. If K belongs to the given set, K plus 1 should be there, then that is called indective set. So when I am talking about the indective set, just you can observe when I am talking about indective set, what is the meaning here? Suppose 1 belongs to A. If K belongs to A, K plus 1 belongs to A, then A is called an indective set. This A is called, then A is called an indective set. 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 Depending upon that, we discuss about the principle of mathematical induction. Inductive set, that you remember here. Like that I can define about the inductive set. In all these are all inductive sets. Having 1, take any number, add 1, you will get. These are all inductive sets. Either which is the smallest inductive set? Set of natural numbers is the smallest inductive set. Now, I am going to discuss about the proper subset. Proper, improper. What is the meaning of proper subset here? So, I will discuss proper subset. Which is not proper is called improper subset. At the same time, proper subset also I can discuss about, like superset also I can discuss. Now, see the proper subset means. Suppose let A and B be two sets. You can consider let A and B be two sets. Let A comma B be two sets. Here you can see if A is subset of B and A not equal to B, this is a rule. A should be subset of B and A not equal to B, then A is called a proper subset of B. A is called a proper subset of B. It should be A is a subset of B and A not equal to B. Then A is called a proper subset of B. A is called a proper subset of B. Now you can observe here. Example: A is equal to, I have given A, B, C. I have taken B is equal to A, B, C, D. Now you can observe here A is the subset of B, right? And A not equal to B, right? Then I can say A is the proper subset of B. At the same time, I can also say B is superset of A. I can say B is superset of A. I can write B is the superset of A. So then I can also express like this. B like this. This is called B is superset of A. B is having elements of A. This is called B contains elements of A. B is called superset of A. I can also express superset of A. A set which is not proper is known as improper subset, right? Improper subset, you can see subset of B not equal to B. Correct? That is called, you can see, we can say both are not equal, then that is called proper. Improper means a set is subset of itself, right? Then it will come under improper, right? Now you can see here, just we learn about proper subset and a superset. Now here I can also discuss about that of learning proper and improper subsets. Now here I will discuss about intervals as subsets of R. Intervals as subsets of R. When I am talking about intervals as subsets of R, you can take it, let A comma B belongs to R. You take real numbers and A less than B. Take two real numbers and A less than B. If we take like this, they have taken two real numbers, A less than B. So here I can define different types of intervals. What does it mean? On the set of real numbers only. Suppose I am talking about a set of real numbers. So real line. This is real line. Because the real numbers I can also express like this. This real line. It can be written as like this. This is called open interval. Open between. Any number you take on this, it will belong to this. Minus infinity, infinity. So it can be written as minus infinity. This is called open interval. Suppose I want this subset of this. Suppose I want to like this is A, this is B. So I want to take in between. Excluding these two. I don't want A and B. Excluding these two. Excluding these two. So I can express like this. A comma B. This is called open interval. They will write X such that A less than X less than B. Less than B. X such that A less than X less than B. These are all real numbers where A, B belongs to, I have taken. I have written X is a number between A and B. This is called open interval. I can express like this. So between we are expressing like that, right? I can express like this, such that A less than X less than B. This is called open interval. Suppose I want including A. Suppose if we include A, I can write like this. X such that A less than or X less than B. I can include A. In this case I can write, so this is including A, excluding B. I can consider in between A and B. This is minus infinity. So excluding B. Left to closed, right to open. I can say semi-closed or semi-open interval. We can say this. Like this we can discuss about this. Suppose if I can also write left to open, right closed. So I can write X such that A less than X less than or equal to B. It can be also here excluding A, including B. Now I can also express closed interval. What is the meaning of closed interval? When they are talking closed interval AB, including both. So X such that A less than X less than or equal to B. This is closed interval. I can express like this, closed interval. Even I can also write set of, they're saying all, look here, the value greater than 0 or equal to 0. If they are using what I write express in the interval form the numbers which is greater than 0. I can also write 0 to infinity, right? Positive real numbers. Positive real numbers. 0 comma infinity open interval, positive real numbers. Because suppose set of non-negative, say, suppose if they say set of non-negative, I am including 0 to infinity, right? Set of non-negative they say, How to represent set of non-negative including 0, this is set of non-negative. This is set of positive real numbers. This is set of non-negative including 0, set of non-negative. Suppose non-positive, if they say non-positive, minus infinity to 0, right? Non-positive. Only if they say negative real numbers, minus infinity to 0, right? Set of negative real numbers, set of positive real numbers. This is non-negative, this is non-positive. That way you can express. So these are the notations for intervals. As the subsets of R, everything entire real we are taking part of that subsets of R. Correct? So that is the reason intervals as subsets of R. Always we will consider intervals as subsets of R. See, even we can express the interval. You can see this is a set builder form, this is interval form. We can express. Okay, like this we can express the intervals. Now I will discuss about the power set. Now I am talking about the power set. What is the meaning of power set? The collection of all the subsets of the given set A. You can remember the collection of all the subsets of the given set A is called, the collection of all the subsets of the given set A is called power set. It is called power set. It is denoted by P of A. Power set P of, for example, A is equal to having 0, 1. That given two elements. See, power set, every subset of A, I can write singleton 0, it is a singleton 1, I can write 0, 1. Even I told empty set is subset of every set, right? I can also consider empty set. So total 4. This is called power set. In power set, each element is a set. Each element is a set. Power set. This is called power set. See all the subsets of A is known as power set, denoted with P of A. See number of elements in power set. If I consider this one P of A, it will come here 4. It will be 2 square. Suppose A is having, if n of A is equal to m, then n of P of A should have 2 power m. 2 power m. So 2 power m gives number of subsets given set. So these are all subsets, right? If A is having m elements, the number of power set should have 2 to the power of, what is m? 2 to the power of m. What is m? Number of elements in A. It gives number of subsets. Here you will get proper subset including improper subset. Proper, improper, both will be there. So generally when I have written here, this is, you can see these are all three proper, the same set, right? What is the proper subset? It is a subset of the given, A is a subset of B and A not equal to B. So it is a subset of that but not equal. But here this is equal, this is called improper. So when they ask what about number of proper subsets? So number of proper subsets we are talking here, number of proper subsets of A means I can write 2 power m minus 1. Number of proper subsets of A. When they are talking proper subsets of A, number of proper subsets of A equal to 2 power m minus 1. It gives number of proper subsets. So remember, power set means the collection of all the subsets of the given set is known as power set. Correct. Again here it discussed about number of elements power set 2 to the power of m. When they are talking number of proper subsets, 2 power m minus 1. Now I will discuss about the universal. When you are talking about the universal set, always remember the universal, when you are talking about universal, that universal set is the superset of all the sets under consideration. So what is the universal set means? Always the universal set is the superset of all the sets under consideration. Always whenever you are talking about universal set, it is denoted by U. Like this they will represent U. It is not unique. It depends upon the given context. It may vary always. It may change the case to case. For example, if we take A is equal to, I have written AEI, I have written like this. What about the related universal set? I can consider universal set is equal, in this case I can write x such that x is a vowel in English, not x, I can write x is a letter in English alphabet. X is a letter in English alphabet. Correct. I can write x is a letter, I can express here. X is a letter in English alphabet, right? I can express like this. X is a letter in English alphabet. For example, I have taken B is equal to 1 to 4. Then for the universal, I can write set of natural numbers. Set of natural numbers I can consider. Like this I can discuss. The same time I can take a Venn diagram. What is the meaning of Venn diagram? Venn diagram. Generally, we represent all the sets in the form of Venn diagram by means of diagrams. If we represent the relation between two sets or between the sets by means of diagram is known as Venn diagram. The relations between sets we may represent by means of diagram which is known as Venn diagram. Generally, we use rectangles and closed curves. Rectangles and closed curves. Even under closed curves, we represent subsets, we use circles. So, to use like this, to represent like this is A, this is B, like this, to represent subset. But to represent universal set, we use this one universal set, rectangle. For universal set, rectangle. For other subsets of U, you can represent with circles. Generally, we use this. Now, I am going to discuss about operation on sets. Now, operation on sets. In that, we are going to discuss about like union of sets, intersection of sets, difference of sets, and I can also discuss about like complement of sets. So, these are going to discuss about 4 types I am going to discuss: union of sets, intersection of sets, difference of sets, complement of sets. First one, union of sets. Union of sets. When we are talking about union of sets, you take two sets, A comma, you take two sets, A is equal to 1, 2, 3 and B is equal to, I have taken 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. If I want to combine this, so if I write combine, so in the set element is no need to repeat, so I can write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is known as A union B. I can represent like this is a notation. What is the meaning of A union B? The element either in A or in B or in both. A union means the element should be either in A or in B or in both. I can also write A union B meaning I can write set of X such that X belongs to A or X belongs to B. So this is the meaning of A union B. I can represent like this: A union B, X belongs to A or X belongs to B or in both. I can express. Suppose if you are thinking about Venn diagram of this. Suppose you are thinking Venn diagram, just you can think, I can consider. So this is A, this is B. So everything together, right? Everything together. So this is known as the mesh region. Everything this is known as, I can represent the mesh region represents A union B. I can represent A union B. Now I can also remember here the properties here. I can also remember when I'm talking. This is the example for that A union B can write. Or also P union is same thing. A union B equal to B union A always. So union is commutative. A union B is equal to B union A. Union is commutative. This is, I can say A B union A commutative law. And also I can say associative law. What do you mean associative law? Take three sets. If I write A union B union C equal to A union B union C, this is called associative law. Always this is true. If we combine, that law is called associative law. The next one they are talking about law of, I can say law of pi, I can say law of identity, I can also say. So A union empty set, it gives A. It gives A. If we combine with any set with empty set, it gives the same set. So I can say law of identity element. So law of identity element here, pi is the identity of U. I can say pi is the identity of U. Empty set is identity of U. Empty set is the identity of U, I can say. Always remember law of identity element. Law of identity element. I can also say pi is the null set is the identity of universal set. Now A union, I can write A union A. Because here we combine A union A is equal to A. This is called idempotent law. A union is idempotent. I can say idempotent law. I can say this is called idempotent law. Idempotent law. A union A is equal to A. Idempotent law. I can also write A union U. Use U only, right? Law of U. A union is equal to U only. It comes law of U. Now we can also observe here. Suppose here you can see here. If I take in this example, suppose you can see here. Suppose you can consider when I have written, let it be B is having 1, 2, 3. A is a subset of B, right? Suppose if A is subset of B, now you can observe this one. Suppose if A is subset of B, if A is subset of B, automatically what is A union B? We can check here. If A is subset of B, because 1, 2, 3 is having here. If A is subset of B, A union B is also equal to B. Correct? Whenever A is subset of B, A union B should be equal to P. That is possible, right? Whenever A is subset of B, A union B is equal to P is possible. Correct. Just remember that A is subset of B, A union B is equal to B. Correct. So that you can remember here. This is example you can see here. A is subset of B, A union B is equal to P. Now I will discuss about intersection of sets. When they talk about intersection of sets, the common elements of to the given two sets, common elements of the given sets. Suppose you can see intersection means the element should be in both sets. 1, 2, 3. I have written B is equal to 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see here clearly the common elements of both A and B are called intersection of two sets, common elements. So what it is denoted by this A intersection, this is a notation. So I can write common elements 2, 3. These are the common elements. If I take common elements of both the given sets, then I can say that is called intersection of two sets. 2, 3 is common. But the actual notation of this A intersection B is equal to set of X such that X belongs to A and X belongs to B. If it is R means union and means B. The element should be in both A and B. So you can see just A and B. The element is in 2 in both the places, 3 also in both the sets. That's called intersection of two sets. What the how to represent Venn diagram? If you are talking about Venn diagram, you can take it A like this. Common elements will be there. So I can combine. This is shaded region. This shaded region represents A intersection B. Suppose this is A, this is B. So the shaded region represents A intersection B. That is A intersection B. Because the A intersection B shaded region represents A intersection B. This is A intersection B. It represents. Correct. The shaded region represents A intersection B. Now, suppose here when they are talking about disjoint sets, there is no common elements. There is no common elements. How they will represent here? You can see here. There is no common elements. Like this. This is here. This is B. No common elements here. Then this is universal set. Always I can consider right. And here no common elements. A intersection B is called empty set. Then A and B are called disjoint sets. Here I can say AB are called disjoint sets. I can say disjoint sets. Those two are called disjoint sets. Even I can discuss about here the properties of intersection. What are the properties of intersection? Always remember when they are talking properties of intersection, you can write here always A intersection B equal to B intersection A. Always possible. B intersection A, and also associate A intersection B intersection C equal to A intersection of B intersection C. This is also possible always. I can also say here, suppose A intersection empty set. It gives A intersection empty set plus empty set. A intersection universal set. When they are talking A universal set, it gives A only because A is a subset of U. A is the smallest one. A is subset of U. Because every set is subset of universal set, so it gives A only. A intersection is equal to A, it will come. What is A intersection? Idempotent law. A intersection A is equal to A. That is called idempotent law. A intersection is equal to A. We can say idempotent law. Now I can also discuss about here like distributive law. What is the distributive law? When they are talking about the distributive law, I can write A union B intersection C. Union distributes over intersection. I can express this. I can write A union B intersection A union C. I can express A union B intersection. I can also write like this: A union B intersection C. It can be written as A union B intersection A union C. Similarly, I can also write one more: A intersection B union C. I can also intersection distribute over union A intersection B. I can write union A intersection C. So this is completely related to like this is a intersection part. So common elements will be there. That is called intersection. Shared digit intersection. So there is no common elements. We can say disjoint sets. So these are the properties. Here written A union B intersection C. A union B intersection A union C. I have written here A intersection B union C. A intersection B union A intersection C. Now I will discuss about difference of two sets. When they are talking about difference of two sets, you can take it two sets A comma B in the same order. You can consider same order. The difference of the sets A and B in this order, you can say same order. The difference of the sets A and B in this order is the set of elements which belong to A but not belong to B, which belong to A but not B. The element should be in A but not in B. That is called A minus B. The element should be in A but not in B. It is known as A minus B. I can say mathematically, I can write A minus B equal to set of x such that x belongs to A. It should be in A but not in B, and x does not belongs to B. So this is A minus B. Simply think about B minus A. When we are talking B minus same we can think x such that x belongs to B and x does not belongs to A. So this is B minus A. In general, these two are not equal, right? A minus B is not equal to B minus. Okay? They are not equal. You can see here when I am taking here. Suppose this is A, B I have taken. So this is set A, this is B, universal set. So when they are talking A minus B, the element should be in A, not in B. That means only this part. So this part, the shaded region, only this part is A minus B. That will be A minus B. If I do this one, this is B minus A. So this is B minus A. That will be B minus A. Correct. This is A minus B. This is B minus A. This is empty, no? This is a without shaded. This is A intersection B. Correct. That part will be A intersection B. These three are mutually disjoint. You take any two into why? Because if I take A minus B intersection A intersection B, I can say this is disjoint. No common element. I can see A minus B intersection B minus A disjoint. Same thing. I can also write B minus A intersection. I can write A intersection B disjoint. So these three are mutually disjoint sets. There is no common elements. I can discuss about there is no common elements. Mutually disjoint sets. These three are mutually disjoint sets. And also we can also remember here when they are talking about this one. Like if I combine A minus B and B minus A, I can also combine A, that is called A delta B. So they will take about A delta B means they will talk about A minus B union B minus A. This is called symmetric difference of two sets. A delta B is known as symmetric difference of two sets. We can write A delta B equal to A minus B union B minus A. It can be translated like this: A delta B, A minus B union B minus A. We can combine those two. We can say that is called A delta B, A minus B union B minus A. I can also remember, you can see when you observe here, A minus B can also write A minus B, A minus A intersection B can I write? You can observe here, A minus B is except intersection part from A, right? A minus is also equal to A minus A intersection B. Same way, B minus A I can also write B minus A intersection B. I can express like this. Correct? The difference of these two gives B minus A. You should remember this. That is the important point here. A minus is also equal to A minus of A intersection B. From here, remove A intersection B. It gives A minus B. Correct? If we have the same thing, if I combine A minus B, if I combine A minus union A intersection B, it gives A. Like this, if we combine B minus A union A intersection B, it gives B. Remember these simple things you should remember. These are the simple things you should remember related to difference of sets. Related to difference of sets. Now I will discuss about the complement of a set. Now I am going to discuss about the complement of a set. So you take, let U be the universal set. Universal set and A be a set. A be a set which is subset of U. A be a set which is a subset of U. Then what is the meaning of complement of a set? Complement of set means the elements should be in U, not in A. Complement is nothing but not A. Complement of A is nothing but not A. They will say here, you can take set of X such that X belongs to U and X does not belong to A. So this is complement of A. It is denoted by A dash. Complement of the given set. With not A. Should the elements in U, not in A. That is called complement of the given set. I can also, the meaning I can also write. If we express like this, can I write U minus A? Except elements of, you can take it, other elements of A from the union. So suppose if we take Venn diagram for this is a universal set. I can represent this is a universal set. This is A. So other part, correct, outside of A. Everything, the shaded region. The shaded region is complement of that. Correct? The shaded region is complement of that. Remember, the shaded region represents complement of A dash. The shaded region. So the shaded region is A dash. The shade is A dash, not A. That is U minus A. That is called complement of this set. Suppose complement of complement, double complement. Complement of complement if you find. This gives, you can see complement of complement. So I can add U minus A dash. So U minus A. It gives A only, right? Complement of complement gives A. Complement of complement gives A. I can also remember here one more part. Suppose A union A complement, it gives universal set. A intersection A complement, there is no common elements, empty set. If you take a set and a complement, intersection of these two, these are two disjoint. You can see this is A. Outside of A is known as A complement. There is no common element. These two are disjoint. A intersection A dash is empty set. Those two are disjoint. You can remember those two are disjoint. Now here I can also say what is complement of empty set. Complement of empty set is U minus empty set. It gives U. Complement of a universal set, it gives U minus U empty set. Complement of universal set is empty set. Complement of empty set is universal set. At the same time, we can also discuss about De Morgan laws. What are the De Morgan laws? When they are talking De Morgan laws, so De Morgan's law, when they are talking De Morgan's law, A union B whole dash equal to A dash intersection B dash. De Morgan's laws. De Morgan's law, A union B whole dash equal to A dash intersection B dash. A intersection B whole dash is equal to A dash union B dash. These two are De Morgan's law, most important one. You should remember this. De Morgan's law. These two are De Morgan's law. Now I can also discuss here when they are talking about the subsets, when they are talking union here. So when they are talking about union, this I can also discuss few more points here. So then we can solve few problems on this concept. I can write, suppose if A and B are two disjoint sets. If A and B are two disjoint sets, I can, if A and B are two disjoint, suppose A intersection B is equal to empty set, then N of A union B equal to N of A plus N of B. Correct? When they are talking A intersection empty set, A union B, n of A plus n of B. There is no common elements, right? We can see here. Suppose they are given this is A, this is B, this is A, this is no common elements. So n of A union B equal to n of A plus n of B. Suppose there is some common elements. When they are talking, there is some common elements are there. So this is B, this is intersection. Some common elements are there. In this case, I can express n of A union B. I can write n of A plus n of B minus n of A intersection B, right? Because you are taking twice the intersection part. N of A union B equal to n of A plus n of B minus n of A intersection B in the case of two sets, right? Suppose when you are taking the case of three elements. Suppose when you are taking, suppose if you take three elements, right? Suppose you are taking three elements, n of A union B union C. How to express that I will explain. Those are the important points I have given here. This is the most important points. You can see A minus of B union C equal to A minus B intersection A minus C. A minus of B intersection C equal to A minus B union A minus C. Be more gone over this one. If you remove intersection, we will get union. It will become, be careful here. Now this is power set. P of A intersection P of B. If we take intersection of two power sets, P of A intersection, it will be equal. At the same time, you can also think here. P of union P of B. Take union is a subset of P of A union B. So the property you should remember here. And also, if you take A minus B, equal A minus B is nothing but A intersection B complement. Both are same. A union B equal to B. If A is a subset of B, A union B should be equal to B. Same thing, A intersection is equal to A when A is subset of B. When A is subset of B, that means all B is having all the elements of A. When B is having all the elements of A, the common part will be A. When B is having all the elements of A, then A will be equal to B. Now A is subset of B is nothing but, important point is one. See, B complement is subset of A complement. Same way A minus B is also equal to B complement minus A complement. Same time you can also remember A union B intersection B complement. If we compare A union B entire set A union B, you take A intersection B complement. You can remember A intersection B complement is nothing but A minus B. Correct? So you can see here they are telling A minus B. A intersection B complement is nothing but A minus B. A union B intersection of A minus B. You are combining everything. So A union B, you are intersection of A minus B. If you take A union B intersection of A minus B, if you take, it gives A. We are combining this. Now you can see here A intersection of B delta C, which is equal to A intersection B delta A intersection C. Now few more important points, just go through this. They are given n of A plus B complement. This should be equal to n of A minus n of A intersection B. Just remove intersection part from A, it gives A intersection B complement. So these are the two De Morgan laws. This is clear, you know. A dash intersection B dash A and then B whole dash complement. From universal set, remove union to its complement. Similarly, this also can understand easy. Now n of A intersection B. So this another way. When they are talking about this one, better you visualize Venn diagram. If you visualize Venn diagram, easy to remember. N of A unit minus n of A intersection B complement minus n of A complement intersection B. Remove these two from A union B to be equal to A intersection B. But always keep it open Venn diagram, you remember. A delta is symmetric difference. A minus B union B minus C is equal to symmetric difference of two sets. I have taken number of elements here, cardinality. N of A union B minus n of A intersection equal. Because A delta B means A minus B union B minus A. You can also express. Even you can also write n of A delta B, n of A plus n of B minus twice of n of A intersection B also we can write. A delta n of A delta B is equal to n of A plus n of B minus twice of n of A intersection B also we can write. A union B union C, n of A plus n of B plus n of C minus n of A intersection B minus n of B intersection C minus n of C intersection A plus n of A intersection B intersection C. Sometimes they may say all are disjoint. If ABC are disjoint, so this will become 0, 0, 0, right? Only if ABC are disjoint, n of A and B and C is equal to mutually disjoint. If AB and C are mutually disjoint, they will get n of A plus n of B plus n of C. the remaining part will be 0 if they are mutually disjoint. Suppose sometimes they will say at least one of ABC. If they are using at least one of A, B or C, you should find A union B union C. When they are using at least, suppose at least one of A, B or C, if they use this word, you should find n of A union B union C, you should find, that you remember. Next you can see A minus B union B minus union C is a whole complement is nothing but A intersection B intersection C, where ABC are 3 sets. These are the finite sets. Complement of this will be equal to A intersection B intersection C. That is also important. Next, another important points, the basic thing you can see here. So, suppose A is having P elements, B is having Q elements. I will just P elements are written. This is P elements, this is Q elements. Then minimum of A union B. Minimum of A union B always equal to maximum of P comma Q. Which is maximum, that will be minimum you will get. Same time, maximum of A union B. Maximum of A union B when do you occur? Maximum A union B should occur when A intersection is an empty set. When A and B are disjoint, if A and B are disjoint, then will be n of A union B maximum. If A and B are disjoint, A union B will be maximum, so it will be equal to some number of elements of P and Q. So maximum of n of A union B equal to P plus Q. Now coming to minimum of n of A intersection B, 0. Always minimum maximum, because when A and B is a minimum, when A and B are disjoint, the minimum of n of A intersection will be 0, right? If A and B are disjoint, minimum will be empty set, it gives 0. Max we can do again, maximum of n of A intersection B. So when they are talking maximum of n of A intersection B, minimum of P comma Q. Whenever the minimum of P comma Q, we can find maximum of n of A intersection B. So these are the main important points related to sets. Few more points I will discuss now. Yeah, now you can see the final formula. With this, you will be thorough with these sets. You can attempt any question. You can see now what I have done here. The number of elements belonging to exactly 2 of the sets A, B and C. This is important. Exactly. Remember these points. Exactly 2 when they are asking among 3 sets. N of A intersection B, N of B intersection C, N of C intersection A minus 3 times of N of A intersection B intersection C. Similarly now, number of elements belonging to at least 2. When they are using at least 2 of sets A, B and C. When they are asking at least 2. The previous sentence at least 1 means A union B union C that we discussed. At least 2 of A, B and C means N of A intersection B plus N of B intersection C plus N of C intersection A minus twice of N of A intersection B intersection C. Number of elements belonging to at most 2, maximum at most 2. At most 2 of sets A, B and C, N of A union B union C minus N of A intersection B intersection C. So if the number of elements belonging to exactly 1, out of exactly 1 should occur. So then N of A plus N of B plus N of C minus twice of N of A intersection B, twice of N of B intersection C minus twice of N of C intersection A plus thrice of N of A intersection B intersection C. These are the new important formulae I covered here. I tried to cover maximum here. Maximum I covered in the sets topic. This video I covered maximum. So try to remember this formulae. Next, the coming video I am going to discuss about the different types of problems in sets, including the previous year questions. I will discuss. Already, in the NCERT example problems I have done that. So after this, you can go through NCERT example book also. After that, you solve the previous year questions. That will be enough to answer any of the question in the sets. Just remember, any of the question you can answer in the sets. Remember, these are the important formulae I covered here. So this is 1 hour lecture. Everything you should go through in 1 hour. The sets will be covered, entire topic covered. Now I am going to complete. Next video I will do the success. I will do the important problems in sets and previous questions. I will do that. So thank you.